Congress, what are you doing? There's a fantastic meme from George Takei, the Star Trek guy. That's William Shatner, Captain Kirk, going, Congress! Instead of Khan from Wrath of Khan. It's K, it's funny, or it's not, depending on whether or not you're a Star Trek geek. Anyway, but seriously, America, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm becoming increasingly convinced, not that I wasn't pretty much already, but even more so now, that this whole two-party thing is just not gonna work. Okay, my Facebook is currently completely insane, right? I mean, like, everyone who's liberal is smearing Republicans from here to kingdom come, and, you know, it's just all Republicans' fault, or, you know, this is all about healthcare, and then all of the Republicans are, you know, likewise, like, managing to smear the opposite, and it's like, stop! Anyway, it's interesting to be over here on this side of the pond watching the shutdown. Some Brits are completely oblivious. I would say a good number. There's not really a reason for them to be aware of it. So Facebook comments are minimal regarding the shutdown. You know, it's things like, oh, I should go bring the laundry in. Whereas then a lot of my American mates are pretty much all blah, 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 blah. Darn you Congress people for continuing to get salaries when this happens, you know, or sad face, the NASA site is down. And that is tragic. That's not okay. For no other reason, we can't have shutdowns because the NASA site is down. Anyway, but yeah, and then so, like, the British news coverage is interesting. There are some jokes, you know, with, like, memes of the Queen, you know, going, like, quick, it's time to take back the colonies, or something, which happens every time there's some big, you know, snafu, and no one means it. And usually they're posted by American expats in the UK rather than Brits themselves, because, yeah, Brits probably wouldn't really post about that, nor do I think most of them want the colonies back at this point. Anyway, but being over here and witnessing a parliamentary political system, and having lived in Israel, where there was also a coalition government kind of thing, I'm really becoming more and more a fan of them, I have to tell you. Because, you know, when there's a coalition government, and there's not a winner takes all, right? Like, there are multiple parties, so not just two, and they all get multiple seats, right? But then there's not a winner takes all presidency. So, you can't have, like, the head of state and the Congress, you know, on opposite sides, completely polarized in the same way that you can in the U.S. And then also, when there's a coalition government, different parties are mixed, you know, into the core of the government and all of the, you know, highest-ranking positions. So decisions are forced to be made with compromise, right? You can't do something and pass legislation that the opposite party is going to do everything in its power to reverse in the next 4 years, right? I feel like too much of the U.S. political system is, you know, 4 to 8 years of doing this, and then the next 8 years of, like, trying to make sure that didn't happen, you know, just because it's becoming so polarized, and it's driving me absolutely insane. And that doesn't really happen in the UK or in a parliamentary coalition system, because even the losers generally have some impact in making, you know, or the lesser losers, if you will, right? I mean, so, yeah, because there are minorities still have a good amount of influence, and in fact, one of the critiques of coalition governments, particularly in Israel, is that some minority powers actually have a disproportionate amount of power, because, you know, they can make or break the coalition, right? So if you push something forward as a coalition government that one of the parties in your government does not like, and they completely refuse and do a vote of no confidence, the government just crumbles and you have elections again. So yeah, elections and terms also aren't promised every 4 years, right? So if the government is failing to compromise, instead of continuing to get paychecks and laying off other workers and, you know, just having a budget crisis, we just get to vote again. Which at the moment is kind of seeming more and more sensible. But I don't know, I'm sure there are other reasons to have a completely and totally polarized system in which I feel like nothing gets done. Your thoughts? Anyone? I mean, yes, there are things that are wrong with the UK, but right now, over here seems a bit more sensible, even in its nonsensicalness.